Good morning folks and welcome to Ennerdale Water. I'm just here in the car park sorting out my rucksack situation. I'm not sure which one today, but for many of you guys, you'll know that when I've just said Ennerdale, that means I'm in the Lake District National Park, which is by far one of the most popular national parks here in the UK, but for good reason. And Ennerdale itself is actually the most westerly lake here in the Lake District. It's a very secluded valley. It's on the coast to coast walk, so if you've seen that video of mine, you'll see me yomp up here on one of the mornings. I think it was morning of day 2. And it's so tempting in this glorious weather here towards the end of March 2022 to want to go up high. Actually, it's like, cool, we'll go up the valley, we'll go up the pass, and we'll go up onto the buttermint fells. But actually I'm staying low today. I'm basically recceing a walk I'm going to be running. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, I run wild walks every single month up and down the country that you can join, get stuck in with. They're of varying levels, varying difficulty. And I really wanted to run this one because I think it's a nice opportunity to introduce people to the Lake District National Park, and a nice steady path, so if the weather's rubbish, you know, we're all good, hunky-dory. Anyway, so it's 11.5 miles. I'm essentially doing a big loop around Ennerdale Water, which is a glacial lake. Talk more about that later. And then we're going to go a little bit further up the valley, so we've got some nice river. Excuse me, that's my waffle, that is. Some nice river time, and then basically loop back around the other side. So we've got all day to do this. There's nothing at all to rush for, which is a good thing for me because my back injury is already flared up, unfortunately. So I'm going to be stop-starting a lot and just really looking forward to the day. There you go, look at this. Nice billboard, and basically what I can show you is where we're going to go. So we're parked here at Bleach Green. Gonna just walk along the eastern shore to the end. Could cross over there and just go back round, but we're not going to do that. We'll continue further up, and I believe it's about here we're going to cross. Actually, we've got Blacksail Hut here, which is a youth hostel, supposed to be the most isolated and remote youth hostel in the UK. Not going quite that far, very tempting. And then the coast to coast actually goes up here, over here, down towards Hostel, onwards. We've got Buttermere and Crummock Water. I won't be able to see them because obviously we've got these big peaks here. So I always wanted to walk up this path actually, but again, another day. We've got Red Pike, High Style, High Crag, and then you come down Gap Pass, and this is Haystack. So I'm thinking about wild camping up there quite soon actually as well. But this is a route I did past, not Sprinkling Tarn, is it? Blueberry Tarn up here, along here and down there. It's just stunning. So check out that video if you haven't already. But anyway, we're here. Let's get this show on the road. Jesus, a very informative 2 meters from the car park. You can see here all about Ennerdale. So basically, as I mentioned, they're doing a lot of tree planting. See all of the different things about 21,500 hours of volunteering. They've got newsletters, they've got trails, they've got cattle grazing, and just all sorts of different things going on. The Arctic char, that's what makes this triple SI, so Site of Special Scientific Interest. Salmon are spawning, there's native woodland, bird life, just wow. Signs of spring as well. Got all of the leaves just starting to come out. Look at this, can we just have a moment please? Just little buds, it's so good. Another vibrant green. Oh, the happiness. And another few meters on, we've got Cockermouth Mountain Rescue. So Cockermouth is the biggest town in this region. And essentially Mountain Rescues just said here, available 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And there's various mountain rescue teams operating all across the Lake District. It's so important that we as outdoor users just spare a little bit of time and money appreciating what they do, because at some point they could save our lives, or certainly our friends or colleagues, or to be honest, those within our communities. So a big shout out to the Mountain Rescue for the incredible work that they do, most of whom are volunteers on call. And in the meantime, let's just do what we can to stay safe and happy in the mountains. And just like that, a few hundred meters from the car park, we have emerged at the stunning sight That is Ennerdale Water. There's actually a bit of a breeze coming off of it. If I turn around, you can just see the spectacular backdrop that we're actually going to be walking into. We're surrounded by some seriously high peaks here. Just some of the most treasured and loved summits in the Lake District National Park, certainly in this region. And I just can't wait to get cracking with this thing. Although Ennerdale is naturally formed, there's a shallow weir built in 1902, used to maintain its level for use as a reservoir to serve residents in the Whitehaven area. As a really quite random fact, US President Bill Clinton first proposed to his wife Hillary here in 1937. Very random, I know, but it felt like a really cool thing to share in this video. You know, there really is a downside to the Lake District being so pretty on a sunny day. It's really hard to make progress. I just have to look at everything and take it all in, particularly this time of year in the spring. Whew, fresh. I'm so excited about today, people. So excited. And you know what? It feels really good to be walking in the footsteps of my younger self. So I did the coast to coast path back in 2018. It was one of the first ones I did solo. 210 miles across the country, literally coast to coast. And yeah, I found this leg a bit tricky actually. It was gorgeous like this, but I was struggling mentally. And I remember it was one of the first times I really opened up in front of the camera about my mental health. So it feels a bit like a pilgrimage to be back here, to be honest. Sort of looking at where Wild started and where it is today, where I am today. Okay, so we've got this sign here, National Trust, indicating that we're heading along Angler's Crag through the gate. The wind is really being funneled down the valley. Anyway, I've just got a bit of shelter because behind me is Robin Hood's chair. I don't know where the name comes from, but one can infer something to do with Robin Hood. And basically it's just a little scramble, if you want to call it that. There's also a footpath alongside it. But as tradition dictates, we're going up and over. It's really nothing of a big deal, other than the fact that it's quite slippery stone because it's been eroded. So if you're up here and it's wet, just watch out. Sunshine! Gotta love it. And here's the second part. As you can see, nice and blocky, very easy steps here essentially, just up over the top. So once you're over Robin Hood's seat, there really isn't much in the way of elevation on the shore here. It's pretty steady going and actually makes for really quite fast walking if you're not shooting the film and bimbling along admiring the scenery. Just come into this beautiful patch of silver birch trees, which are catching the morning light as it's rising steadily. It's definitely one of my favourite trees. I mean, look at this gnarly old trunk here. So cool, very sensory. And once the leaves are out in the summer, just the sound they make as the breeze blows through, that is a happy place for me. I'm fairly sure it was around here, just on the edge of these woodlands, that I ended up stopping and just having a proper little cry about my mental well-being. I was tired, I was dealing with a lot of voices in my head, and I was very detached from the landscape, which was really hard to experience. For someone that, like me, that gets such a kick out of being in nature, it's always quite a distressing sign. But yeah, I'm walking through and I just sort of feel like able to hold my younger self, which is kind of cool. And yeah, just see the personal growth, to be able to look back and say like, right, check your vitals. You know, are you warm enough? Yes. Are you too warm? Yes. Are you dehydrated? Probably. Have you eaten enough? Yes. Are you physically tired? Not too bad. Is the pain in your back getting to you? Yes. And being able to sort of build a puzzle or a story around that as to why my mental space might be dipping. But anyway, it's just cool knowing that I was here, now I'm here again. It's so personal, you know. I just try and give you guys the glimpses where I can, and it's just a very special experience this today, actually. Well, here we are, right at the opposite end of Ennerdale Water, and just shortly we're going to see the path to the left, which is where the coast to coast goes along. Then I'm going to continue up the valley first of all for a fair bit, alongside the river, through the gate. And here we go, this is our junction point. So if you wanted to just do the shorter loop around the lake itself, you just go left here at this boundary. But we're now going to continue on the right hand side of the river, going to cross over Woundale Beck and continue up on our hike. If we can get through the gate. So you can see we're straight into this coniferous plantation with these super quick growing pines, which actually are nicely separated, so we've got daylight coming to the ground. And what that means is seeds in the ground, the light reaches them so they can germinate, and we get the birth of native species, obviously great for native wildlife. And what we can also see here is the ground is pretty churned up, and what that is cattle, highland cattle. So the farmers here keep highland cattle in order to basically create these dents in the ground. You see that? Whoop, heavy footprint has gone right in there. And that means that when the seeds disperse, they can get caught in the nooks and crannies here of the footprint, and basically they have a greater chance of success in terms of actually being able to grow into a flourishing plant. So even though this is a beautiful, chilled out forest, it really is very managed, but in harmony with nature. You can hear the sound of water. Not gonna lie, this little patch here feels very Alpsy, which is everything but a bad thing. Hey, look at this.
This incredibly epic and stimulating place was the confluence of Silver Cove Beck and Deep Gill, running down the hillside from Core Fell high above.
In case it was of interest, Forestry Track goes that way, and you can walk along that if you want to, but this is the actual designated footpath, so I highly recommend you stick to this. Let's go see what it's like underfoot. Yeah. Just had to come off the path slightly. This place is unbelievable. Look at this. Obviously the river meandering along. I mean, what more can I say? I'm speechless. That's what this landscape makes me, speechless. I love this path so much. Just this small single track. You've got the river alongside. Wide open views. Just the absolute best. It is fascinating actually, yomping along this little path, just looking at all the different plant species that are growing here. So yes, we've got the pines here, the coniferous pines. There's also, if you look at the ground here, all sorts of heathers, we've got mosses, there's lichens growing on old tree trunks. You know, there's definitely, oh here we go. Look at this, see we've got a birch as well. There are native trees all sort of intermixed with the pine trees. And no doubt this is definitely a good wildlife watching spot. Probably red squirrels and all sorts of bird life. I mean, I've been listening from chiff chaff to grape spotted woodpeckers all doing their thing in these woods. Oh wow, look at this. Look at this bank. That has been eroded by the sheer force of water. Let's not get too close actually, that could be an overhang. Wow. Oh, a nice deep pool there as well. Go jump in there. No, don't jump in. It's not deep enough. Go swim in there. It is actually a little bit soggy underfoot. As you can see up ahead, there's patches of mud. I mean, it is nature after all. Look at that. Beautiful. I think I'm going to be awkward and go through the trees. Just to my right here is Moss Dub. There's a little pool of water clearly being cut off by the river. You know, it's mind-blowing to think, you know, we're walking through a glacial landscape. This has been shaped by moving ice from the last ice age around 10,000 years ago. And the glacier itself would have scraped up and deposited so much sediment, so much of the stuff, the rocks, the rubble that we're walking on today. And we would have the river flowing down as the glacier retreated, and the force of that glacial water again depositing more rocks and rubble until finally the build-up, as we saw with the erosion, the exact opposite. That rock and rubble which is being eroded away from the land is being dumped on the next bend, ends up cutting off pools of water just like this. And that really is geography in action, and rivers are such dynamic things to explore. This is Low Beck here, tumbling down from the fells above. You can see it's split, which is super cool. You just got this island, this gnarly great beech tree in the middle. Love it. So it's literally just on the other side of Low Beck that I've decided to just take a small track down to the footpath again. I really want to follow that because the river is just mind-boggling, and also I'm really loving this forest. It's got a very like Scottish feel to it, a bit West Highland Wayery. Cool little V bridge here. Look at this. Wow. Well, we've come out into this newly felled patch of land. The trees are all just completely cut down at their base. It's going to be interesting to see this evolve, and then actually a bit further ahead, the trees that are left standing are native birch. So hopefully they'll put out seeds, and other trees are going to come in with their seeds, probably hand planted initially, and then this is going to very quickly become a native forest. As we're moving ever further upstream, the river's intensity is growing. It's less mellow here. It won't be far now until we find the bridge in order to cross over. Stunning views all the way up the valley and then loop around the other side. Actually, I think that might be it just there.
This was by far the most dramatic spot on the day's hike. Cascading waters, dense pines, and a sense of remoteness that just had to be savoured. I loved every single footstep I took along this path.
Here's the path, the junction point at which the track joins as well. And if I'm right, it's on this bridge we're going to get one of my favourite views of Ennerdale Valley. Oh yeah, look at that! Whew! Alright, so that was the river Liza at its best in my opinion. So we are now on the other side, obviously crossed over the bridge, that's what bridges are for. And now we're just going to be following the Forestry Track all the way back down to Ennerdale Water. I think I'm going to sort of just get my head down and stomp this out, to be honest. And just try and really soak up the beauty of the landscape. This is a very coniferous-y side, sort of work in progress, as with all of the conservation management here. And I just feel like I need a wee bit of space to reflect on my coast to coast journey as well, because it was this side that I walked up as I made my way on towards Blacksail Hut and the valley beyond. Of all places to be getting a Tesco's delivery. Wow, to live up here, what a treat. And here's the youth hostel.
This was the Youth Hostel Association of Ennerdale, where there's often public access to an honesty box cafe. We stopped here on our recent wild walk, and it proved to be a bit of a hit with the crew.
It's been a really nice walk down the track. Certainly don't get to stay as close to the river as the other side. This is much more of a functional track to follow. Very quick walking, and we're now so close to the tip of Ennerdale Water. I'm really excited because I haven't walked the other side of the lake before. So there's a road on this side as well, but it should be pretty mellow. And to be honest, I'm just really enjoying the sounds of nature and letting my mind wander. It's a very good place to be today. There it is, Ennerdale Water in the hazy afternoon light. Look at this, just tucked away off the side of the track are these daffodils, just growing, all in flower, with a stunning view behind of Ennerdale Valley. Dropping off the path momentarily, or rather off the track. Oh my gosh, look at this! Hi little leaders! Yeah, so there's a footpath that sort of works around this outcrop, and the track goes up over the top, so you've got a bit of an option as to which way you want to go. There's a very cool path actually. You can see the bilberry leaves all coming out now as well, fluorescent green, just gorgeous. Beautiful gorse in full bloom here, look at that, just so striking in its yellow. Well guys, I think I'm deciding to wrap up this film here. There's probably max a mile back to the car now, and this side has been not less stimulating, but just very chill. Really just enjoyed the walk. It's been, yeah, just easy, a nice steady plodding pace. I haven't done 11.5 miles in a while, so it's kind of nice to actually have put a slightly longer day into the picture today. And I really can't fault this walk. It's just mind-bogglingly beautiful. Just the real alpine sense further up the valley, and the water and the fells and the gorse and the daffodils. I mean, oh my gosh, my brain is about to explode. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to getting back. I think I'm a little bit dehydrated, to be honest. I need to get some liquid in my system. It's been 18 degrees today, the end of March 2022. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, really, but I suppose it makes for nice walking. But yeah, obviously we've talked a little bit about the history and the culture of Ennerdale Water. The plane is a bit irritating, isn't it? And seen some of the wildlife as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for getting stuck in and joining me today on this walk. If you'd like to join me on a walk in person, have a look on our website, spend more time in the wild.co.uk, and to get involved, there's group walks and you can get stuck in there. But in the meantime, highly recommend coming out to walk this route as well. You know, it really goes to show you don't have to get high to have a fantastic day in the Lake District. High as in mountains, fells, never mind. Right guys, on that note, I'm going to leave this here. Enjoy your walks, your adventures, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And until next time, stay wild. I'll see you soon.